Long ago, in a quiet and almost forgotten corner of Japan, where mist drifted like wandering spirits between cedar-covered hills and the steady murmur of rivers, measured time more faithfully than any bell or clock, there lived an elderly husband and wife whose days unfolded with humble routine and gentle grace, their lives shaped by honest labor and quiet devotion to one another. Yet beneath their calm smiles lay a sorrow so old it had become a silent companion, for though they had shared countless seasons side by side, planting rice beneath the warm promise of spring, gathering firewood beneath blazing autumn skies, and warming their stiff hands beside a crackling hearth as winter snow softened the world outside, they had never been blessed with a child. And each evening as shadows stretched across the tatami floor and lantern light flickered against paper walls, the old woman would pause in her sewing to gaze at the moon with eyes full of longing, while the old man stared into glowing embers, imagining laughter that never came, the patter of small feet that never crossed their threshold. Yet despite this ache, they never allowed bitterness to take root, choosing instead gratitude for the quiet blessings they did possess. Until one radiant morning, when the sun rose golden over dew-laced fields and birds stitched song into the air, the old woman carried her wooden washing tub along the familiar path to the river, humming an old tune passed down through generations, kneeling at the water's edge to scrub clothes against smooth stones as she had done countless times before. When suddenly her humming faltered and her breath caught, for drifting toward her on the slow, glistening current was something unlike anything she had ever seen, something round and luminous, glowing faintly pink beneath the sunlight as if holding warmth within its skin, and as it floated closer she gasped in wonder, realizing it was a peach, yet not merely a peach, but the largest, most flawless peach she had ever laid eyes upon. Larger than a melon, fragrant and perfect, bobbing gently as though guided by unseen hands. And with effort born of excitement she pulled it from the river, cradling its surprising weight against her chest, laughing aloud in disbelief as she marveled at its warmth and beauty, already imagining her husband's astonishment, and so she hurried home along the winding path, calling out joyfully as she entered their small wooden house, and together they placed the giant peach upon the table, admiring it from every angle before agreeing to cut it open and share it. Yet the instant the blade touched the fruit's smooth skin, the peach split apart with a soft, radiant glow, filling the room with golden light, and from within emerged a healthy baby boy, crying and smiling with the fierce vitality of new life, leaving the old couple frozen in disbelief before tears of joy broke free, their hands trembling as they lifted the child, understanding without words that the heavens had answered the prayers they had never spoken aloud. They wrapped the baby in soft cloth, held him close to their hearts, and named him Momotaro Peach Boy, believing him to be a gift sent by fate itself. And from that day forward their home, once quiet and still, rang with laughter and warmth, as Momotaro grew not only in size but in spirit, becoming a strong, kind, and curious child with eyes bright as morning dew and a heart fearless yet gentle, helping his parents in the fields, listening intently to the old man's stories by firelight, and showing strength far beyond his years, lifting heavy bundles with ease, running across hills as if carried by the wind. And as seasons passed and the boy grew taller and surer of himself, whispers began to drift into the village like dark clouds on the horizon tales of Oni, fearsome demons with horns and iron clubs, dwelling on a distant island called Onigashima, sailing out to raid villages, steal treasures, and spread terror wherever they went, and though many villagers spoke of these stories only in hushed voices, Momotaro listened with steady eyes and a tightening jaw, for something deep within him stirred at the thought of innocent people living in fear. And one evening, as the sun bled crimson behind the mountains, he knelt before his adoptive parents and declared that he would journey to Onigashima, defeat the Oni, and bring peace to the land. And though the old couple's hearts trembled at the thought of losing their beloved son, they recognized in his gaze the same unshakable certainty that had entered their lives with the opening of the peach, and so with tears and pride they prepared him for his journey. The old woman carefully cooking kibidango millet dumplings infused with love and prayer, while the old man offered his blessing, and at dawn, with the dumplings tied at his waist and courage burning in his chest, Momotaro set off along the winding road, where he soon encountered a fierce-looking dog who growled and barred his path, demanding to know his purpose. Yet when Momotaro spoke honestly of his mission and shared a dumpling, the dog's eyes softened and his tail wagged, pledging loyalty. And not long after, they met a clever monkey swinging from the trees, mocking them with playful chatter. But upon hearing of their quest and tasting the dumpling, he too vowed to join, bringing wit and agility. And finally, near the coast, a proud pheasant descended from the sky, dazzling in color, and after hearing their purpose and receiving a share of food, he offered his keen sight and gift of flight, and together the four crossed the sea to Onigashima, where storm clouds loomed and the air smelled of smoke and fear. And through strategy, courage, and unity they stormed the Oni fortress, the pheasant striking from above, the monkey scaling walls and opening gates, the dog charging with fearless loyalty, and Momotaro leading with unwavering strength until the Oni were defeated, their weapons shattered and their leader kneeling in surrender, promising never again to harm humans. And Momotaro accepted their surrender with wisdom rather than cruelty, reclaiming stolen treasure and freeing captives. And when he returned home triumphant, the village erupted in celebration. The old couple embraced their son with tears of gratitude, and peace settled once more across the land, proving that courage guided by kindness, loyalty, and friendship can overcome even the darkest of evils.